Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Cole and Victoria get the DNA test results, and Billy quits Jabot Monday, December 18, 2023. Today on The Young and the Restless, Billy tells Jack he's leaving Jabot, Tucker has reason to celebrate, and Claire learns the truth about her parentage. Audra joins Tucker at the club bar and he needles her about lover boy Kyle. Audra says he can see through Tucker's scheme. He knows he's setting him up to take a fall. Is Kyle right about you? He asks why she cares if Kyle takes the fall. Audra asks again if any of the plan he told Kyle was true. Tucker says, not a word, but he'll go back to Jack and tell him the whole story. Audra knows Kyle won't go through with it. Tucker says he was right, then. He can't be trusted. Maybe this was the test. He thinks Audra has let this kid get under her skin. Audra has to wonder if he has the same fate planned for her. Tucker warns her not to let Kyle come between them. His future is with his family, and yours is with me. At Society, Kyle tells Diane that he managed to find out more about Tucker's plan. Diane worries it's too soon and McCall is on to Kyle, but her son is convinced it's legit. He shares that Tucker wants to set up someone at Jabot to take a fall and hasn't decided if it's going to be Billy or you. Diane doesn't know whether to be honored or angry. Kyle explains that Tucker wants him to steal a new product formula for Glissade. The idea is that Jack will find evidence that leads him to her or Billy. Kyle's not convinced that they're actually the target. I think he's going to pin it on me. Diane decides it's time to tell Jack everything. Billy finds Jack sorting through mail at the Abbott mansion and tells him this isn't going to be easy to say. I'm leaving Jabot. Jack reminds him he fought tooth and nail for this job. I won't let this happen. Billy thinks he knows as well as he does that there's somewhere else he should be. He kept him around to make sure he doesn't screw up. Jack argues that he doesn't give out high-level positions out of pity. Billy says being at Jabot isn't good for him, especially with this battle against Tucker. Jack realizes it's too much like a gambler's high. He's worked too hard to get his life back. Billy says, I hope you can understand. Jack says he'd be absolutely tone-deaf and selfish if he didn't. He has one question: what changes if he goes to Chancellor? Billy replies, you. Jack asks how he's the reason. Billy says, I always wanted to be you. I always wanted to win. He always had a nagging feeling that he won't impress him or live up to that standard. It's similar to wanting to take down the house. I wanted to prove I could top you. Going to Chancellor takes the pressure off and he gets to work with his mother and Chance now that he's leaving the force. He gets to be the head honcho, the Jack, to all of the younger ones there. Jack asks, is that really how you see our relationship? At the ranch, Nikki is standing and staring at the vodka when Victoria calls out. She enters the room, followed by Cole. Nikki worries about what they must be going through waiting for the DNA test results. Cole says they'll hear back today. Michael appears, just back from Oregon, and wants to give them an update. It's best you hear this face to face. Victoria asks if Claire will be released. Michael explains that he convinced Claire to plead guilty by reason of insanity, and he asks that she be remanded to a medical facility as opposed to prison. They debate bringing her to Genoa City Memorial's psych ward. Victoria thinks it's the right move. Nikki worries that Jordan will come out of hiding to look for her. Victoria assures her mother that Victor will keep her safe. Victor appears and says there's no updates on Jordan. He says it's fishy how she left her things to be discovered in the motel room. Michael steps out to take a call from the courthouse. Victor sits by Nikki and asks, my baby, what's wrong? He notices her hands are shaking and worries her MS has been triggered. Nikki says she's just worried about Jordan being nearby. Victor promises she won't get to her again. Nearby, Victoria offers Cole food or something to drink. He declines and smiles that nothing has changed. She turns into Ms. Etiquette when she's upset or something's bothering her. Victoria laughs. She remembers being wild when they first met. Cole thinks she's still the same woman, just more grown up. Victoria thinks losing a daughter changed them both. Cole never imagined this, after all these years. He honestly doesn't know about Claire. Michael reappears and says the judge decided Claire should be remanded to a psychiatric hospital in Genoa City. At Society, Kyle tells Diane that Tucker won't believe him if he doesn't steal an actual product from Jabot. Diane replies, "Exactly, which is why you need to come clean to your father. He may not approve, but that's a chance they have to take." Kyle asks where Ashley's at with selling her half of the company. Diane says Glissade will be his by the end of the day. Kyle is glad to hear it. Jack is the missing piece, and once they have his support, Tucker won't stand a chance. In the Abbott living room, Billy tells Jack that he can't go any higher at Jabot. He'll never live up to his standards, and he'll never retire. Jack muses, "You're saying I limit you." Billy counters, "You have to, Jack." He can't compete with his brother, but the part of his brain that always wants to win doesn't accept that. Billy recaps how he always bounced around before coming back to Jabot to try and impress everyone. At the end, it was all about Jack. "It's just not fair to either one of us." Jack asks if he thinks he'll have more luck this time at Chancellor. Billy shrugs that he's older and wiser. It's a leap of faith. Jack says, "Maybe." Or maybe just running away. At the ranch, Michael says Claire is being transported to Genoa City by an armed guard. Victoria thinks it's time for the healing to begin. Victor complains about Claire arriving in town before they've neutralized that Jordan woman. Nikki says they need to be very careful and reminds Victoria that they don't truly know who Claire is. Cole gets a text and says, "We're about to find out right now." He chokes up and gasps, "Claire is our daughter. She's our daughter." At the club bar, Audra tells Tucker she deserves an answer. Tucker goes on about how much he appreciates her. She complains that he throws all these words around and they end up being meaningless. Tucker says he respects very few people, but he respects her. "I trust no one, except you. She makes this fun." He loves the way her eyes light up when they're going in for the kill, and how her brilliant mind works. "I love it all, Audra." She asks why he's just now saying it. Tucker didn't think he needed to. There was no Kyle to make her doubt him. They had an unspoken language where they didn't need to say anything. It went deeper than that. He hopes she knows that he's doing all of this for her. Audra gawps, "Explain that to me." Tucker says he wants Chancellor Winters for Devon and Jabot is the jewel he's saving for her. Audra fumes that he's going after Jabot for revenge. Going to all of this effort to snow her makes her trust him less. Tucker complains that her feelings for Kyle has made her soft. Audra feels insulted. Tucker apologizes, that's not something he ever wants to do. He takes her hand, "Please don't be mad at me. You are one of the few people I actually admire. Where would I be without you?" Suddenly, he gets a text and exclaims, "Ha! Champagne for everyone!" Jack accuses Billy of running away to his mother and taking the escape hatch. Billy says he's not blaming Jack and he's not a victim. He gets to walk away right now because he's okay and didn't self-combust. It feels good. He's going to work his ass off and has an amazing woman who he adores. His kids respect him. "If I lose that, I've got nothing else. I don't want to be that guy anymore. I like this guy." Jack replies, "Yeah, well, I love this guy." Billy teases, "Always a competition, geez." Jack will miss him. Billy asks him to ask Kyle to keep the festivities to a minimum when he celebrates his departure. Jack sighs. Billy wonders if maybe Kyle isn't the co-CEO parent that he thought he was. Just then, Diane and Kyle walk in. She asks what's going on. Billy says Jack will fill them in, and leaves. Jack tells them Billy is leaving Jabot. Kyle asks why. Jack says, because of me. Because of me, damn it. I'm to blame. At the ranch, Victor asks Cole if he's sure Claire is their daughter. Cole nods, marveling, 97.8%. Nikki can't believe it. She's our baby Eve. Victoria cries, we grieved her. She was gone. Cole says, we were lied to. He thanks Michael and Victoria follows suit. She says they have to keep her safe. Michael warns the transition won't be easy for any of them. Victoria wants to go to Memorial and be there when she arrives. Cole does too. Nikki frets, but Victoria is undeterred. Michael will meet them there. Victor hugs Victoria and asks her to be careful. Victor says, Michael. Michael says, I know, we'll talk. I really need to take care of things. Once alone, Victor takes a stunned Nikki into his arms. At the club bar, Tucker tells Audra that she's looking at the sole owner of Glissade, the greatest cosmetics company in the world. Audra muses, and we haven't even developed a single product yet. Tucker hopes Kyle comes through for them. At the Abbott house, Jack is ashamed that he didn't realize how working with him affected Billy. Kyle sees how it was like a poker match, trying to constantly outwit him, knowing he'll never come out on top. Jack worries, you never felt like that. Kyle thought it was a typical father/son thing. Diane's sorry. She knows that Jack hoped Billy could handle things at Jabot. Kyle says, this changes things, doesn't it? Maybe it's a good time to. Jack cuts him off and says he wants a moment alone with Diane. At the ranch, Nikki reels from the news that Claire is Victoria's daughter. She's not sure how much more sheer Victoria can take. Victor asks what she's afraid of. Nikki worries that Victoria will feel she has to show them that she's stronger and braver than she's actually feeling. Victor sighs that they'll have to protect her. At Memorial, Victoria and Cole marvel at things changing so quickly. They repeat in disbelief, she's our daughter. Victoria says it doesn't feel real yet. Cole can't even begin to think how Claire will make sense of this. Victoria agonizes that they weren't there to keep her safe. Cole adds that she was told she was rejected and was unloved. Victoria declares, we'll protect her now. Just then, Michael and the guard come in with Claire. At the Abbott mansion, Jack insists Kyle leave the room. He heads upstairs. Diane asked Jack why Kyle had to leave. Jack wanted to discuss what happens now that Billy is gone. Diane wonders what there is to discuss. Kyle will get his old position back. Jack says, actually, I'm not sure that's the right thing to do. At Memorial, Claire asks why she's there. Cole says, we want to help you. Claire thinks they want to keep an eye on her. Victoria denies it. We want to help you get better. Claire muses, you came for my DNA, didn't you? Cole tells her, we already have it. We found your DNA at the lake house. Victoria explains they had it tested against theirs. Claire asks, do you already know? Victoria says, Claire, it's the only honest thing that your Aunt Jordan said, you are our daughter. Claire's eyes well and lips quirk as she digests this news. At the ranch, Victor tells Nikki that welcoming that Claire woman into their lives won't be easy. Nikki says they'll have to if they want Victoria in their lives. Victor wonders, what if you and I decide just to celebrate the occasion? Nikki says, under normal circumstances, yes, but this is hardly normal. Victor gets a call from his security people at the motel and steps away to take it. Nikki makes a beeline for her purse and downs some vodka from her flask. When she turns around, she sees Jordan looking in at her from outside through the glass doors. Please note that if you purchase something by clicking on a link within the story, we may receive a small commission of the sale.